Femke Bol did something that nobody thought was possible. The most dominant sprinter in the world announced she was leaving everything behind to chase a completely new distance. In 1 minute, 59.07 seconds, Bol shattered expectations and became the first Dutch woman to break 2 minutes in the 800 meters. Before Femke Bol ever stepped onto a track to run 800 meters, she was already one of track and field's greatest achievers. The Dutch superstar is a 2-time world champion in the 400-meter hurdles, winning consecutive titles in 2023 and 2025. She holds the European record in the event at 50.95 seconds, making her the second fastest woman of all time in the hurdles. She is a 4-time Olympic medalist across multiple events. She won Olympic gold as part of the Dutch mixed 4x400-meter relay at Paris 2024. She holds the world indoor record in the 400 meters flat at 49.17 seconds, a time that ranks her among the fastest women ever at that distance. Beyond individual achievements, Bol has won Diamond League titles, continental championships, and multiple relay medals. She represents not just Dutch success, but European dominance in speed events. Her technical proficiency in the hurdles is complemented by her world-class speed on the flat track. Few female sprinters in history have combined 400-meter hurdles excellence with sub-50-second flat 400-meter performances. In 2025, Bol dominated the outdoor season like few athletes ever have. She won 6 consecutive Diamond League 400-meter hurdles races without defeat. She remained unbeaten in 11 of 12 races across hurdles and flat 400 meters. She finished the year as an overwhelming favorite for European Athlete of the Year. Her speed, her technique, her competitive fire, everything about her performance screamed that she had reached the absolute peak of her powers at these distances. By any measure, Bol had already achieved legendary status. She had accomplished everything possible at the distances where she specialized. She had won world titles, Olympic medals, set world records, and dominated international competition consistently. For nearly every athlete, that would mark a career's culmination, but Femke Bol was not most athletes. In October 2025, just weeks after concluding her dominant outdoor season, Bol made an announcement that stunned the track and field world. She posted on social media that she was transitioning to the 800 meters. She was stepping away from the 400-meter hurdles, the event that had defined her professional identity and brought her world titles. She was abandoning the flat 400, where she held the world indoor record and dominated every competition. She was moving to a distance she had never raced as a professional. A distance where she possessed zero elite-level experience competing against world-class runners. The announcement generated enormous debate across the sport. Critics questioned whether moving to a completely new distance made sense for an already dominant athlete. They pointed out that 800-meter running requires entirely different training methodologies and energy systems than sprinting and hurdling. They noted that she had never competed beyond 500 meters as a professional athlete. Her personal best in the 800 meters came from her junior days in 2017, a time of 2 minutes, 19.51 seconds. That performance was 9 years old, set by a much younger athlete with different physical capabilities. But supporters saw a different narrative. They saw an athlete at the absolute peak of her abilities deciding to challenge herself in a completely revolutionary way. They saw someone who had mastered sprinting and hurdling now willing to test whether elite speed and competitive fire could translate to middle-distance success. They recognized that Bol was doing what only the greatest athletes ever attempt, reinventing themselves while still at their peak. This was not about fading away from hurdles. This was about expanding her legacy to new distances. From November through January, Bol undertook one of the most intensive training blocks of her career. She traveled to Potchefstroom, South Africa, for an altitude training camp specifically designed to develop her endurance for the 800 meters. At altitude, the reduced oxygen forces the body to adapt and become more efficient at distance running. For 3 months, Bol trained at these elevated conditions, building the aerobic base necessary to compete at 800 meters while maintaining her elite speed. The training represented a complete departure from her previous preparation. Hurdles training focuses on explosive power, technical efficiency, and short bursts of speed. Distance training requires sustained effort, pacing strategy, and the ability to manage pain over longer periods. Bol had to retrain her body, reprogram her nervous system, and develop new tactical skills. Coaches, nutritionists, and sports scientists worked together to guide her through the transition. After 3 months of intensive preparation, Bol arrived at the Meeting Metz Moselle in Metz, France on Sunday, February 8, 2026. The race represented the culmination of months of planning and training. It was the moment where theory would become reality. Bol lined up against experienced 800-meter runners from across Europe. She had no professional track record at this distance. Nobody knew what would happen. Running behind Polish pacemaker Anna Greik, Bol executed her race plan with precision. She followed through the opening 400 meters in 56.66 seconds, then held her rhythm through the 600-meter mark in 1 minute, 28.86 seconds. Over the final lap, Swiss runners Valentina Rosamilia and Laura Hoffmann pressed hard, but Bol's sprinting experience allowed her to hold them off. She crossed the finish line in 1 minute, 59.07 seconds. She had shattered the Dutch national indoor record. She had become the first Dutch woman to break 2 minutes indoors. She had ranked 5th on the 2026 world list with a single debut performance. Most importantly, she had announced that the transition was working. Bol's time, while impressive, is not yet at the level of the true 800-meter elite. Olympic champion Keely Hodgkinson's world indoor record of 1 minute, 54.87 seconds is nearly 5 seconds faster. Other world-class 800-meter specialists possess superior distance experience. But the significance of Bol's performance goes beyond the time itself. For the first time in her career, Bol competed at a distance requiring sustained effort over nearly 2 minutes. She demonstrated that her world-class speed from the 400 meters could be combined with developing endurance to produce genuinely world-class 800-meter performances. She proved that the controversial transition was not a mistake. She showed that she belongs in the 800-meter conversation. After the race, Bol described it as a jump into the deep and said she had a lot of fun. This perspective captures her approach to the challenge, not desperate or fearful, but adventurous and joyful. She slumped to the track immediately after finishing, the physical toll evident, but then she recovered, celebrated with the crowd, and embraced the moment. After her impressive 800-meter debut, Bol had plans to race at Lieven on February 19th in the unconventional 600-meter distance. This intermediate distance was designed to provide valuable insight into her pacing strategy and tactical development at longer ranges than she had previously trained for in sprinting. However, on February 17th, Bol announced that she was withdrawing from the indoor season due to a foot tendon injury sustained during a training camp. She posted on social media that her body was telling her to rest and that she would focus on rehabilitation and building toward the outdoor season. Despite the abbreviated indoor campaign, Bol has already qualified for the World Indoor Championships in Poland on March 20th through 22nd. Whether she will compete at those championships remains uncertain given her injury situation. The possibility of future matchups with Keely Hodgkinson has captured the sport's imagination. A rivalry between the Olympic champion and the Dutch superstar would be genuinely compelling. But for now, Bol's focus is on recovery and preparing for the outdoor season.